One of the most common questions I read on YouTube videos that I find that are suggested to me and also on LinkedIn is the question, are we going to get obsolete as professionals, and in our case, software engineers? And the question is kind of silly because people have always been getting obsolete depending on what they were focusing on. So let's cover that a little bit. So let's start a little bit backwards, right? So if we talk about products, if we talk about bringing value, if you talk about jobs, about companies, every role on this planet, being a software engineer, a carpenter, a cleaner, astronaut, is about generating outcomes that generate profit, right? So you as a professional, your job, somebody gave you a job so you can help the company grow and make more money, which means that you as a professional, your role is not to write code, your role is to generate outcome by doing certain actions. Yes, writing code, but then etc. We're going to get to that in a second. If you would ask your friend, your mom, girlfriend, boyfriend, dad, grandma about an iPhone, a pen, anything, they would tell you how great or how bad the product is. They wouldn't be getting into the materials that it was made of, etc., etc. They would be talking about how great this thing is. It solves my problem. Your grandma would say, oh, I like this phone with the buttons. I don't hear and see well, so I feel these buttons and I can send an SMS, right? She wouldn't be getting into the materials or the country of origin, etc., etc. This is not to, of course, say that for us developers, code is irrelevant. It's absolutely relevant, and we should write the best code we possibly can. But writing the best code that we possibly can and building the wrong things and not reaching these outcomes is where we will get obsoleted and replaced. So in simple words, if you're a person who only writes code, you're basically a tool like a hammer, screwdriver, jigsaw, your only function is to write code at work, you will 100% get obsolete. So if your only intention in life or perception that your job is to just write code as a software engineer, because you think that just because there's a prefix there's of software, which means I can only write software, that cannot be further from the truth. So what can you do? What can you do to help yourself to not be a tool that's easily replaced? Again, this pen literally has one function. If I throw this pen away now and take a different pen from this drawer, it's gonna make me write on my sticky notes exactly the same or better. So this pen is very replaceable. If this pen was cooking my dinner, cleaning my office here, helping me record these videos, this pen would be a lot harder to get rid of. I would be thinking really, well, do you want to get rid of the pen that does all of this, right? So what can you decipher out of this analogy? Be more than a tool at work. You must have heard terms such as 5x, 10x, 50x, and your first assumption of these developers or professionals was they must be writing the code 10 times better or faster, or volume of code is higher, but it has nothing to do with that. The 10x term, basically, usually these terms would originate from companies like Google, refers usually to a person that brings so much value, aka it influences so much good outcome. This is a person that typically works, let's say, at the company X, does his or her best to learn the domain knowledge of the company, to understand how the customer success works, what are their issues every day, what is the problems that they have, how the sales team works, marketing team works, how the engineering works. It's typically a person that stays at the same company a little bit longer, learns the code base, the whole infrastructure of the company really well, and is able to uplift other people, is able to answer questions from various domains concerning that company and that product. So that person, as you have or are right now, have also been initially a developer at that company, but that person has understood that in order to grow in any direction, as a staff engineer, as a manager, as a tech lead, team lead, CTO, engineering director, that person understood that they have to do more. It's not sufficient to know React or Rust or C# or PHP or whatever to move on. It's simply not sufficient, right? So this is your path forward, and this is why I also recently recorded a video named The Death of Software Engineer and a Rise of a Product Engineer, because As Marty Kagan says in his book, inspired book, which you should read. Marty Kagan is a legend in the Silicon Valley and one of the best, most influential persons when it comes to product management. He says if you're using your programmers only for coding, you're utilizing their talents probably less than 50%. So if you're just a programmer who goes to work, takes some tasks, and that's your entire job, you should definitely be worried. You should be worried because we are at the start of the AI. AI is going to be able to do these things with a well-specified requirements really well. It already can in various ways. What AI can't do, it can't, at least not yet, it doesn't have critical problem skills, it doesn't have logic, it doesn't have ability to talk to the whole organization, to talk to the customers, etc., etc., etc. So change yourself, grow up. I really need to emphasize especially this grow up. Pull your ass out of frameworks and tools and these things. Nobody cares except you. Your CTO again doesn't care. Your customers don't care. Nobody in your company cares. You can go to any of these people and say, oh man, I wrote this amazing piece of code, or I used this library. Trust me, I tell you, nobody absolutely cares. Leaders, organizations care about the outcome, not about the tasks. Tasks do not equal outcome. You can do 500 tasks every day. You can be a rock star in that. But if these 500 tasks you've done serve nothing or nobody, you haven't really done anything. So remember that tasks do not equal the outcome. If you, if you want to become fit and strong and lean, and you are to achieve that, you're reading books. The outcome of what you wanted to achieve has nothing to do with the actions you're doing. So don't be a tool. Focus on being way more than just a hammer or a jigsaw or this pen or this sticky note, and you will see results more than you can imagine. You will be able to focus on certain areas in your career. You'll be able to aim to be a leader of some sort or a staff engineer. But as long as you're just a tool, just a programmer, just somebody who is just given some input and you produce some output, you're not going to move from there at all, arguably ever, and you will 100% get replaced. If not by AI, you're going to get replaced by your company, because as I said, I can replace this, I as a human can replace this pen right now and get another one. You have to ask yourself, how critically are you integrated in your company, and how much does your company need you, and how easily replaceable you already are by not the AI, but by your company. So if you ever are in doubt about that, ask yourself that question. How valuable am I to this company? How easily can they fill my role? And how much did I integrate myself across all units of the company to prevent that? I wish you well. I hope this advice finds you, and I hope you can take this the most sincerely. This is a friendly advice because I've seen this, I see it every day, and this is the mantra of my team, the team that I lead. I praise this and parrot this nearly every single week to everybody in my company. Have a good one, guys. I wish you best, and I'll see you soon again. Cheers. Bye-bye.